You're listening to the Business Wealth Impact Podcast, your source for empowering information and cutting-edge ideas from the world's top minds. I'm your host, Jana, founder of seven-figure coaching company, Jana International. Join me on a journey to unleash your potential and create your highest success. Welcome to Business Wealth Impact. Hello, and welcome to the next episode of Business Wealth Impact. We have Jana Short, editor-in-chief of Best Holistic Life magazine, which inspires over 1.7 million readers globally, host of Oh My Health, There Is Hope podcast, and best-selling author of The Yet Factor. Jana empowers others through holistic living, sustainable practices, and mindfulness, earning top influencer and leadership accolades worldwide. Welcome, Jana.
Thank you so much for having me today. I'm very excited to be here.
I am too. I want to dig into all this lovely stuff because we've spoken before and there's so much inspiring stuff in your life and what you're doing. So first of all, tell us a little bit about your book and what's in the book that's like truly valuable.
So my book is about mindset. During my decade and a half journey of finding better ways of living, I realized that a lot of it started between our two beautiful ears, right? A lot of magic comes from what is in our brain and where it comes from and how we use it. And so I just wanted to write a book about what I had learned over the last 13 years.
Okay. And what is that? What's the book about? What value can they get without even reading it? I'm sure you'd want them to read it, but let's just say they don't read it. What's the takeaway from your book?
The takeaway from my book is that we all have these superhero capes, right? We all have the power to do anything. And I know that people are like, yeah, whatever. But you hear these stories sometimes about women moving a car off of their child, right? Mm-hmm. Or these incredible feats of heroism at these weird moments. And I'm telling you, it's mindset. As a mom of 4 or a grandmother of 7, I know that if I saw one of my children or grandchildren in a space, I wouldn't even think about it, right? My mind would be just to get them into safety. And the truth of the matter is we have the capacity to do this on a daily basis. And it's just a few little tricks on how we're programming our brain, just like it's a computer. We've been programming it since the moment we joined this beautiful planet. So I think if you walk away with anything, you'll understand that you already have every tool you need. You really, truly do. All you have to do is activate it.
Okay. I love that. And it's true. People do superhuman feats without thinking about it out of necessity, right? So how can people get to be superhuman in their humanness? Because it's kind of what you're going for here, right?
Yeah, let me tell you, that's hard. It's very simple to do, but it's so hard to recognize that you need to go there. So for me, do you mind if I just share a little bit about my past story? Because it's really what led me into this journey.
Oh, 100%. Yes, I want you to tell, because your story is amazing. So what got you into this?
So I was in my 50s and I had a little surgery, right? I would say my life was good. I had a beautiful company that was very successful. I tell people all the time I showed up driving my Bentley and my Louis Vuittons, carrying my Hermes bag, and I felt like I was the epitome of success. And the truth of the matter is my health was declining. I was stressed out. But I had to have a little surgery to fix a hiatal hernia. Now, normally I would not have done this. But it had twisted. And when it twists, it's lacking blood flow, which means it's going to dehisce. It'll open up and whatever I eat will just flow into my body cavity and cause me to be septic. And so I had this little surgery. During the surgery, my vagus nerve was accidentally damaged, which means nothing functioned. My stomach did not function. They did not know this and neither did I. Until months later when I started looking pregnant. And bless their heart, people would come up and congratulate to you and Steve on your new baby. I'm like, well, thank you for thinking I'm having babies in my 50s, but I am not pregnant. And I couldn't figure out what was happening. Finally, I ended up in the ER, so sick, and they found this mass in my stomach. And it was because it wasn't functioning. So everything I was eating, by the way, our bodies are like these miracles. My stomach just kept stretching to hold whatever I was putting in it. And so I ended up looking pregnant. And the way that they decided to help me was to remove my stomach completely. So I went in to have my stomach completely removed. And what happened to me was horrific and yet beautiful, the outcome. What happened to me is that they feed you through a PICC line, which is synthetic foods. It's called TPN. And my body, my organs, they just did not like it. So they rejected it, and my body started to shut down. All my organs started to stop functioning correctly. And after 3 months in the hospital, and by the way, my stomach dehisced after my surgery, so I became septic. So after 3 months in the hospital fighting for my life, I was told my organs were going to continue to shut down, and I could choose to stay in the hospital and they would make me comfortable or go home. And my brain was just wrapping around, what do you mean making me comfortable? Like, I don't know what that means. Like, what's happening? I wasn't sick. And I honestly just wanted to go home. I didn't go in the hospital sick. And I felt like if they just could stop touching me and putting things in my body, maybe I could just get my mind wrapped around what was happening. Here's the beautiful part. I had just had a brand new grandson. He was our 5th grandchild. I was at his birth at the end of March and went in for my surgery April 5th. And now I'm dying 3 months later. My daughter brought him to see me. And I will tell you, I looked at that beautiful little boy and I thought, how will he remember me? The other kids will have a little a little memory of me somehow, but he's so little. How will he know how much I love him or how much he meant to me being at his birth and, just being a part of his life? He won't remember how I smelt, like what it sounded like when we laughed together. That Bentley and Louis Vuitton shoes and Hermes bag meant nothing. I would have traded every single thing I owned for just a moment and a memory with him. And so here's where the magical part happened. I got on my computer and in my deathbed at home with hospice care, and I typed in the words, desperate for health answers, looking for some holistic options, because modern medicine told me there was no hope for me. And I typed in those words and the entire world opened up. Like literally, I had this reach that went across the globe with tons of information and things I had never heard of. And I didn't decide to live because I was told I couldn't. I didn't think it was a possibility. I just decided to make another day until I could make this memory happen with my grandson, who is now 13 years old. And I will tell you, my whole life since then has been about creating memories and relationships. Those are my bank that I fill now instead of, the shoe bank or the purse bank. So now I fill it full of memories. But here's what happened. Not only did the world open up and tons of information that I could grab onto and educate myself on, also came people who roll out of bed that day and thought, you know what? People are making money in this. I'm going to be a naturopath. I'm a homeopath. I'm going to sell this product because I hear it's really good, right? It doesn't matter who's I'm selling it to. And I had to maneuver that, which I would have spent all my money. So it wasn't about the money. It was about the precious time I no longer had left to do this. And here I am 13 years later. And I created this platform that I can find these incredible people who are educated in what they do. They're not just saying it, who have a story like mine. There was this aha moment for them that this is where I'm supposed to be and how I'm supposed to live. Each one of these people have retrained their brain because of this moment. They have decided what was important to them and figured it out. So for those of you who are like, I want that, you already have it. You just have to tap into it. And one of the hardest things to do is the conversations we have with ourselves. I am constantly the brain monitor of what is being said by me to me. Like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to get this done. What? But what if we just shifted that to, oh my gosh, I haven't gotten this done yet. Instead of closing the door, I'm never going to get this done. Your brain hears you. It's not going to get done. Shut the door, move on to something that can get done. It hears that little simple word, yet. And that yet, like I haven't died yet, not today.
Jana.
And I strung those days together for 13 years.
Okay, Jana, what happened? We didn't get to the end of the story. You asked for help. And then what happened?
I did. I found help. And by the way, it was a product. It was a natural product. I started using it and I started feeling better. Not like I couldn't even get out of bed. I was so weak. So it was just get up, stand for a little while, right? Get
Okay.
up and walk to the next
And
room,
how did
right?
it
And then
the problem of no stomach and no food being able to go in? How did that point? That's an engineering problem you had with your body. So,
it 100% is.
right.
For the first 6 months of that surgery, I couldn't even drink water. I could
How
not,
did
because
you
remember I
how
had
did you stay
DHIS.
alive though with no sustenance?
An IV, an IV.
Oh,
And by
oh.
the way, the food that was closing my or shutting my organs down, I still used it
Uh-huh.
because that's what I had to have.
You had to have something.
So I don't know what the ship was. And even my doctors no one knows what this ship was. And here's the thing, when you guys are out looking for a diagnosis, right, you
Mhm.
need something to wrap your
Mm,
head around. Like if I just knew,
mm,
I've seen people like, oh my gosh, I have cancer. I'm not going crazy.
mm.
And they're excited that they finally got a
Of
diagnosis. And then
course.
they sit and they're like, wait, what? I have cancer?
Now what do I do? Yeah.
Yes, you do not need a diagnosis to move forward in your health journey. You
Right.
do not. As a matter of fact, my diagnosis is exactly the same as it was 13 years ago. I'm living in the same diagnosis. No stomach. I have no idea. I keep thinking I'm on borrowed time, but I've been told by the universe, no, you have a purpose. And
Mm.
so I know that I'm supposed to still be here. All of this is just playing
That's
out exactly
amazing.
like it was
Okay,
supposed to.
so everybody's curious because I'm curious. Okay, so we sort of fluffed over that bit. Okay, let's stick with you, and then we'll get to your wonderful platform. So you have
How
no,
do I eat?
yes, we're curious. We're curious, right? We're human. You have no stomach.
So I eat normal. I eat
So
normal.
you eat normal
I mean,
food now.
I do. I
Wow.
mostly, like, if you were to come to my desk, there's like 6 glasses sitting on my desk.
Okay.
All of them have proteins in it,
Um,
vitamins in it.
mm,
So I drink more than I eat,
yes.
but I do eat whatever I want. If I want to have a steak, I'll eat a steak. Here's the side effect of that.
Okay.
I throw up 10 times a day. For the
Wow.
last 13 years, not one day has gone by that I have not thrown up. I'll get pain if I eat too much because there's nowhere for it to go.
mm,
So I nibble my way through life. I find really nourishing things. I really take care of my body. So for me, as it should be for everyone when I think about it, yes, eating is fun. And it does a lot of mentally great things for our brain. Like we eat chocolate. Oh my gosh, that's so
exactly.
good.
I
A
was
little,
wondering about that because but where does it go? Sorry, I'm just, I'm very visual. When you're eating, if you have no stomach, where is that going?
So what happens is it just goes through my system. So that's why when I eat something solid, it usually will come back up. But most of it just goes through my system. Having said that, there's something that comes from that. Now I have what they call Barrett's esophageal,
Mhm.
which is precancerous in your esophagus, which
Mm.
means your intestinal lining has started mimicking your esophagus lining.
Ah,
And so it changes your lining pattern. So I go in every year to have an endoscopy so that I can get biopsies to see how far it's grown.
mm.
So there are side effects that come with,
Yeah.
doing things the way I do. But I asked my doctor, he would have me just on baby food,
Mhm.
literally,
Yes.
and liquids. That would be his happy place for me.
Mhm.
But I know that in life, that's just not really possible. One of the very first things we learn to do other than breathe is eat.
Right. Right. I was wondering about that because you're taking, and you could do it, but you're still getting your pleasure. You just know you're going to throw it up later, but at least you're getting the taste and the experience of living a normal life.
100%.
Yes.
And your brain craves it. Even if you sit
Mm.
there and you're like, I'm full, I'm really not hungry, because I'm almost always full because I'm with
Uh-huh.
the stomach.
Right.
So I'm almost always full. I just know when I get tired or my brain gets
Mhm.
maybe a little foggy, I know I need to feed myself. Having said that, what it's shifted for me is I don't put anything in my body that doesn't give it value. Nothing.
So when you're drinking, where's that going? Is that being absorbed? The vitamins, are they
Yes.
being absorbed? How with no stomach?
Well, it doesn't get absorbed through the stomach. It gets absorbed through the intestinal tract,
Oh, so
where most
still
of our nutrients do get
anyway.
absorbed. They
Oh,
get broken
okay.
down in the stomach.
Because that's all there still. Okay,
Mhm.
now I'm getting it. Wow. So you're just like, okay, I'm gonna eat this steak. I know I'm gonna throw it up, but at least I'm getting the pleasure of eating it.
Yeah. That's
Wow.
what I do.
That's insane. Wow, you are a trooper. So with all of this, you came to a new understanding of what's important in life, right?
I did. I really understood that I don't think anyone has ever been on their deathbed and wished they worked more or made more money.
Right.
For me, it was like creating a memory. I will tell you, it has shifted my entire life. I went
Mm.
back to school. I was an interior designer. That's what I went to school for.
Mhm.
I had a big company here in LA.
Mm.
And it just wasn't important for me to go back to. I realized I didn't love that.
Mhm.
I wanted to like wake people up and let them know what they're capable of, what they can tap into.
Mhm.
And that is where my passion has been since. And I tell you, when you tap into that beautiful passion of yours, nothing seems hard anymore.
Mm.
Even the hard days are like, oh, I got this. This is super easy.
Right. Nothing's hard after what you went through. It's just like, how could anything be hard? Well, I'm so proud of you. It's an amazing story. And now you have this whole platform where there are millions of people on there and people can go just ask for health, health help. And somebody's going to say, hey, I know. They're all going to like respond on the platform.
Right. So on our platform, by the way, the platform started out totally by accident. It started out as a blog
Mm.
or as a newsletter. And people kept asking me because I was coaching. I went back to school. I wanted to teach people about triggering their minds to believing things that they thought were not possible for them, like me thinking it wasn't possible to live.
Mhm.
I wanted to do more. And so when I was coaching, I had to cut back because what happened is I got super successful at coaching,
Mhm.
and I had 2 years booked out solid. And that beautiful
Mm.
little grandson called me and said, Nana, I'm in a play. Will you come? Absolutely. Remember, that's what I survived for.
Mm.
And I look at my calendar and I'm like, wait, what? He's in Palm Springs.
Mm.
That's 5 hours round trip drive for me.
Yeah.
And then being there, where am I going to put these people? I don't have anywhere. I'm going to have to work on a Sunday. And I sat back and realized, wait, that's not what I survived for.
Right.
And so I cut back my coaching. And when I did, people were upset. Like, wait, why are you cutting me back? Why don't
Mhm.
cut somebody else back? And they were asking me to do a newsletter that gave them more information and tips. And I didn't want to do it. So I reached out to people that I was coaching. And at the time, I had a few celebrities I was coaching and working with. And I asked them, why don't you write something about your journey? I just want
Mhm.
to hear your story.
Mm.
And how has that got you where you're at today?
Mhm.
I think I got about 30 like little short
Yeah.
stories. And I'm like, well, how do I put 30 short stories in a newsletter? And so because of my design background, I got on Canva and I
Mhm.
created this magazine
Mhm.
looking thing. And they had to sign up to get it, for the magazine.
Mhm.
And we got over 30,000
Wow. Well,
signers up
you
for
had
that
star
newsletter.
quality on there. That was smart. You had good headliners, right?
Yes. By the way, I feel like every time I put someone in the magazine, I have a good headliner
Right.
because I vet them
Yeah.
personally. Everyone meets me. I vet
Mhm.
them personally. I know their background, where they're
Mhm.
from. But here's what I know mostly,
Mhm.
that they care about you. They
Right.
really care about your outcome.
Mhm.
It's not like just buy my PDF and
Yeah.
see ya.
Yeah.
They want to be a part of that journey of helping you get where you're going.
Mm.
And so it just opened the doors for us. We released a magazine the first year, every quarter. The second year we did every quarter, but we added 2 special issues. Now, not only are we releasing every month, we've added 2 special issues to
Mm.
the 12-month releases. So it's just growing like crazy.
Mm. Amazing. So that's amazing. So there is a platform though that people can type in and ask for help, health help, correct?
Yes,
Good.
100%.
Great. Because that's your mission and that's what helped you is being online and people. And I'm curious, what was that product that kind of saved your life?
It was essential oils.
Ah, really?
It was essential oils that
Wow.
I could ingest or rub on my skin, and it made a world of difference.
Amazing. Which essential oil was it? Was it a blend or a
doTERRA. It was
It was
all of the
doTERRA.
oils. So
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
I used like all of it.
Mhm.
I read, what is this for digestion? And
Mhm.
it was always herbs that it would tell you when
Mhm.
you're reading holistic. I'm like, well, wait, I need something more powerful.
Yeah.
And so I went to say goodbye to my family basically,
Mhm.
to an event in Utah, and there was this woman there that I was not very nice to because I'd already seen all these snake oil people,
Mhm.
and I was not nice to her at all.
Mhm.
But we are dear friends now, and that was over 13 years ago. And she's like, I just want to gift it to you. Just take it and
Right.
use it.
Just
And
use it. Yeah.
about 2 weeks later, I'm like, wait, I do feel a little bit better. What's happening?
Wow.
If this makes me feel this good, what else is there? And
Exactly.
so I've been a huge essential oil user for 13 years.
Yeah. Oh, they work. I mean, I'm a big believer in that. Okay, so let's get back to your book. So your book, first of all, your story's in there, which is incredible. Also, you're a super positive, happy person. And I find that extraordinary because, a lot of people are living in their gap. They're not living in their gain. And you are truly living in your gain. That's clear to me. And that's a talent. And that is something I'm sure that you've developed. Am I correct about that?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. again, I raised 4 kids, and 3 of them are 9.5 months apart, 9.5 months apart. So they were like Irish triplets.
Got it.
And so I remember like thinking, even when were all sick, you always catch that flu bug too when they're all sick and passing around. I remember crying in my room, can I just be sick once by myself? I just want to lay down.
Yeah.
But you can't because you're a mom. You got to like make sure they're okay and get them to the doctors, and you're sick.
Oh, no. I remember that time, Mike. I was so sick once, and I was a solo parent at that point. And I was so sick, and I had the baby, and I couldn't get out of bed. I'd be like crawling out of bed and changing her, and then putting her like in the playpen, and then lying there. I was dying, and you can't not have your kids be.
No, you can't call into your kids.
Yeah,
Sorry, sick today.
Crawling. It was terrible. So yeah, I know what you're saying. After what you've been through, all of that seems like nothing, probably. Right?
Right.
Yeah.
Honestly, nothing. See, everything, like I said, even the bad things are easy.
Right.
I used to look at failing as failure because that's what I was raised to. If you're not winning, you're failing, right? You're losing. And so everything I did, I carried this huge thing that I was a failure if something didn't go right the very first time. And now this has opened my eyes that there is no such thing as failure. I'm getting feedback, and sometimes I'm getting slowed down. Sometimes I'm getting slowed down because when I did the magazine, there was a lot of things that slowed me down because when I got to the 1.8 million, it's actually 1.8 now.
Wow.
When I got to that 1.8 million, I wouldn't be ready for them. I wouldn't be able to service them in the manner that I wanted to at the very beginning in my mission. So now whenever something happens, I'm like, great feedback.
Right.
And have you ever had someone ask you ever, if you had to do it all over again, what would you change?
Yeah, you would say nothing.
I would say everything.
Oh, okay. No, people say
I am
nothing,
not the person who would say nothing. The people who say nothing, I'm like, are you insane? With the knowledge you have now, I would change everything.
I thought you were going to say that, and I can't relate to that either. I'm like, yeah, I would pretty much change timing and developing quicker. I wish I had made exponential growth with my development as a leader and a person, a human being, and I wish that I had learned to be in the gain way earlier than I have learned that, because I was very negative and I was a perfectionist. So perfectionists are never happy because nothing's ever going to be perfect. But now I'm more and more and more and more like, wow, in the gain, right? In the positivity. So what is something that you talk about in the book? Because I'm sure the book is treasure trove of knowledge about how people can change their lives without having the crisis that you had, right? That they don't have to wait for the crisis to change their lives. I'm sure you're talking about that. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yes.
100%.
What's something that people can start to do, even if they don't read the book, to change their lives?
I would honestly just change the way you talk to yourself. Like you may not even recognize it because you've been doing it for so long, but you are putting those mind blocks there. Nobody else has the power to do that. Only you. So when someone tells you, I'm going to give up, for instance, we stopped on our social media. We closed down like counts and comments because it doesn't matter to me. I put out what I feel needs to go out into the universe in the best possible way I can. And you'll get, like, I have clients that'll come and say, they hated my post. I feel miserable. I'm sad. Their whole day is brought down because one person would make a comment.
Right.
They don't see the hundreds of positive, like signs, thumbs up, you really helped me today. They see the one negative comment and their brain gets wrapped around that. Why? Why do we focus in on the one negative? And why does it matter what someone else thinks? They're bringing their own baggage to the door. So I tell people, believe in yourself. Your opinion of you is the only one that should matter.
Right.
I went to a very large conference at the beginning of COVID. And I don't want to say the name, but it's probably one of the biggest names you can imagine that does conferences. And it was the first time he did an online one. I just blew his gender, but it was the first time he did an online one. And he did it on Facebook. And I went because it was free. And I'm like, wait, free opportunity. I'm taking it. On day 3, he asked us, what would we change it was about relationships with our partners. What would we change to keep our partner happy and in a healthy relationship about ourselves? I listened, you had to go on Facebook and do it live, give your live answer. And I listened to some of the people, and women would say, I'd lose weight. I'd be the person he married. I would change my hair. I would start cooking dinner because he complains about that. Mostly men are pretty secure about themselves because that's not what I heard from them.
Right.
I finally went on and I said, I wouldn't change a bleeping thing.
Mm-hmm.
I would change nothing about myself to keep someone in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I would change a million things about myself to be a better person.
Right.
But if I have to change myself to keep someone that I love, it's not worth it.
Totally. That's teaching.
They need to go.
Teaching complete codependency. You did blow it. I know who you're talking about. Yeah. That was not a very smart question, actually. It seems like a very not evolved question. How are you going to bend over backwards like a pretzel to please other people? But I agree with you. There are certain days, and I'm sure you've had this, where in the same day, I will have a person say how amazing I am. It's the same day, somebody's saying, oh my goodness, you're just terrible in some way. That's so interesting, isn't it? Now I could focus on the person that doesn't have a good view of me and doesn't even know me. Or I could focus on the person that actually is working with me saying, you're incredible, you're amazing, and I'm so grateful for you. It's all, we have to get to a point where none of it affects us, where we're not like, oh, thank you. Because it's all letting other people sway us both ways, your ego. So if somebody compliments me, I thank them, but I don't go, oh my goodness, I must be so valuable because I got a comment, right? The point is to be steady no matter what you're hearing about yourself because you know yourself. It's always pleasant to hear nice things, but it shouldn't be that we are addicted to the praise and that's going to make our day. And then somebody says something bad and then we're not happy. That's like a roller coaster of emotions, all dependent on what somebody else is saying about you. So I completely agree with you. 100%.
You know what I've noticed too is, especially with women, they'll get a compliment. Wow, you look great in that color. And they immediately
Yes.
start deflecting. Oh my gosh, I'm so nasty
Yes.
looking. I didn't even do my hair. It's like a dirty hair day. And instead of just
Right.
saying thank you, like we immediately deflect anything positive coming in because we
there's
don't
no
feel worthy
perfection.
of it.
We have to be perfect. Yeah. No, it's true. When
Yes,
people, I just say, thank you
right.
very much. I don't think, well, I could have been better because their point of view is, oh, you look amazing. So, Jana, this has been amazing. Tell us one thing, the one thing. Let's say somebody met you for once and so they're not going to read your book. They're not going to be on your platform. You're only going to have that one experience with Jana. Okay. And you're going to give them some life force. What's the one thing that you would tell that person that you're never going to see again? They're not going to be in your network. What would you do to use that dime the best? What would you tell them?
I would tell them that they are amazing. You are amazing exactly as you are. And everything you need to accomplish anything you want, you already possess. It's between those beautiful ears of yours. All you have to do is activate it.
Okay, that's a mic drop. Jana, thank you so much for turning up and telling us your incredible story. Everybody, please, what's the book name again, Jana?
It's called The Yet Factor.
The Yet Factor, and it's on Audible and also Amazon, I'm guessing?
Barnes & Noble, you can get it at Barnes & Noble, on Amazon. I do not believe they put out the Audible yet, but it is also on Kindle, and Kindle will read it to you.
Okay, very good. It's like Audible. Thank you so much for turning up, everybody. Now, if you like the show, and a lot of people do, please write a review and tell us how great you think it is. Please share it, and please listen again, and we will see you on the next episode. You're listening to the Business Wealth Impact Podcast, your source for empowering information and cutting-edge ideas from the world's top minds. I'm your host, Jana, founder of seven-figure coaching company, Jana International. Join me on a journey to unleash your potential and create your highest success. Welcome to Business Wealth Impact.